Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Rachel Nicastro, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at MusicFirst, and we are thrilled to have you join us again for tonight's special webinar, introducing Focus on Sound Pro. And we're going to dive into one of our newest offerings here in the US. Hosting today's session is my colleague, Richard Payne, MusicFirst's UK and International Director of Sales and Marketing. Now, Richard brings a wealth of knowledge about Focus on Sound Pro, which is a platform that has been a perennial favorite in the UK for a number of years and is now available to our US audience. We couldn't let him have all the fun. So this live event is being streamed on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Please feel free at any time during the webinar to drop your questions in the comments, and we will get those up on the screen and get those answered for you. The webinar is being automatically recorded, and you'll be able to view that at any time. So if you join us a little bit late, you can catch up with us where we are, or you can go back and join us from the beginning. So let's go ahead and get started and learn more about what Focus on Sound Pro has to offer. Welcome, Richard.
Great. Thank you very much, Rachel. So welcome, everyone. And I'm going to be talking to you about Focus on Sound Pro. And I'm going to start by just talking about the original Focus on Sound, which was started 14 years ago. And it was started as an encyclopedia of instruments and terminology with videos, audio, and learning advice. A couple of years later, it was expanded, so it had lots of structured lessons with loads of quizzes, tests, and it covers a wide range of genres, and it's being added to all of the time. So we're putting new content in there every day, and it's become a huge resource that is used widely in the UK and around the world. And we're now bringing it to the US. It is also integrated into the MusicFirst Classroom. So anyone who's using the MusicFirst Classroom has this within it, and it can be used for all sorts of activities for students. Focus on Sound Pro was introduced about 3 or 4 years ago, and this has additional features enabling you to create custom lessons, quizzes, and content. And this basically opens so many doors in terms of what you can do with the product. It's not just a program that has content within it. You can actually utilize all of that content to build your own lessons and your own quizzes. So it's a huge addition to the product. You can also share content into the shared library. And what this does is to allow other people who use Focus on Sound Pro to access that content that you have created. So I'm now going to dive into the product itself. So here we are. And I'll go back to the sort of homepage of the dictionary, which is what you're faced with when you first come into the program. So you've got your instruments section, and then you've got your musical topics section. And the instruments, you can just go into any area and find out about a particular instrument. So if we go into brass, for example, and let's look at the trumpet. So in here, you've got information about the trumpet. You've got an audio file, which I'll just play quickly. All of the instruments will have lots of audio files like this. On the right-hand side, on this tab here, you have a notation score. And again, that will play back and it will follow the score with the red dot. So that's really good for helping students to follow music. And there's lots of other examples of that to help students following music, basically. There are videos. So there's multiple videos of the trumpet used in different kind of genres. And then there are other recordings of the trumpet being used in a sort of a bigger example. And there are YouTube videos as well. So these are all linked to very carefully chosen YouTube videos. And if we go back to here, you'll see these sections in blue. And if you click on those, it pops up with the answer. So Focus on Sound is very much used not just for a program for students, but also from a teaching point of view. You can have this up on the board in a classroom situation and you can be doing things like posing a question to the students, and then you can click on that to bring up the answer. So it's thinking of this both as a teaching tool and as a homework tool or classroom use tool for students. And that's really important to remember with Focus on Sound. Moving on to the test area. So there's, as I mentioned at the beginning, there's loads and loads of tests within the program on all of these different areas, and you can just go in and pick a particular test and you can assign this to your students. So if we go into key signatures, for example, and then start the test, this is just a multiple choice quiz on key signatures, and I got it right for the first one. There we go. And as you can see at the top right, it's keeping track of the score. So 1 out of 12. So there are 12 questions in this one, and the students would work through that, and it's keeping track of their score. And then that will be recorded in the results. And if you're using MusicFirst Classroom, that will be sent back to the mark book or grade book within the MusicFirst Classroom. So all of the time you're doing these tests, the student results will end up back there. So there's lots of multiple choice questions and multiple choice quizzes within the program. So going back to tests, you can have tests on instruments or musical topics. Now looking at lessons, so lessons are a bit more involved. So they not only deal with tests, they deal with the information as well. So if we look at particular lesson, for example, if we look at something on history, then we've got a Baroque music introduction. And you can see there in that list that it goes through lots of things that are in the dictionary, and then you get a quiz at the end of it. So it's kind of working through those sections. So if we go through this, you'll see that it starts off with the Baroque orchestra. We'll just skip on to the next section. And then it moves on to the next bit, which is about the Baroque ensemble, and so on. So it moves through all of those different areas. And then at the end of it, you've got a quiz, so the students can do a quiz on basically what they've learned. So this is a perfect kind of homework tool that you can give them to do. There's also a little favorites button up there just to mention, so you can put things in favorites to make things a bit easier to find when you're going through it. And you can build up your own kind of curriculum using that kind of feature. Okay, so onto the My School section. So this is the area that the Pro version has, which really expands what the product can do. So custom tests is where I'm going to start with this. So this is where you can just very quickly create your own test. Now, there are different types of tests that you can create, but I'm just going to show you how to build a very quick random test based on a list of terms. So I'm going to create a test on ornaments, and I'm going to click Add. So it says identify the ornament, and then I'm just going to choose 4 ornaments. So it goes through a little search for you to find the trill. We're going to have an inverted mordant, we're going to have an appoggiatura, and then we're going to have an acciaccatura. There we go. So 4 things, and then all I have to do is click publish. And that has now created a 20-question quiz based on that list of terms. So you see how quickly you can do that. That's something you could use at the beginning of a lesson, at the end of a lesson, just as a very quick fire quiz on the board. And if we just go into that to start the test, you can see it's just utilizing those 4 things to... There we go. And then you can just work through it, and you've got the next one, and so on. That could be on any topic at all. It could be just instruments, it could be just brass instruments, it could be key signatures, it could be structure, or any of those different things. And you could just build that yourself and build up a whole long list of tests that you want to use in your class. The other thing you could do with Focus on Sound is use it for cover lessons. So if you've got a cover teacher coming in, then you can set up tests and lessons for those cover teachers to use. Going back into my school, custom lessons. This is where you build something a bit bigger. So, for example, I'm going to build something on Baroque music, and I'm going to put something together basically. So today's lesson, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to do the first thing here, which is about the Baroque era, and then I'm going to go and find what I'm looking for. So I'm going to attach Focus on Sound content. So you click on that and it takes you to the dictionary area. So I can, it'll be in here somewhere. So I'm just going to go to the dictionary and search for Baroque. There we are. So we'll just go for Baroque to start with, and then you just click on attach at the top right. If we now move down, we can add another section. So this could be something like the harpsichord. And then you just click attach and go into the instruments, and we'll just find the harpsichord. There we are, and click attach. And you can just add as much as you like here. So we'll add one more thing to do with the ensemble, and attach the content. And then we'll just go to musical topics, and then again we'll go to Baroque ensemble, and we'll attach that. You can also create sections which are not within Focus on Sound. So you can go attach an external web link. So if you want it to go to some other website as part of this lesson, then you can do that. And at the end of the lesson, you might want to do a quiz. So you could add another section, which is a quiz. And once you're done, then you just publish that lesson. We'll just choose a class. There we go. Publish that lesson. And there we are. Today's lesson. Start the lesson. First thing it does is it goes through the Baroque era. We'll just skip past that for now. And then you're on to Baroque music and so on. So this has built a very quick lesson for you, and you can just build up a curriculum using this type of thing. So I'm just going to show you a couple of the other types of tests. So if we go into tests and then classical study pieces. Okay, so I'm going to find Purcell Trumpet Sonata. So I'll start this one here. So this is another type of test. These are called timeline tests, and basically when you press play, it pops up with a number, and the numbers relate to the questions below. So if I just press play, and you'll get number 2, and then you answer the second question, whatever that was. I didn't really hear, but I'll put a mordant for now. Got that one wrong. Number 3, and then number 4, and so on. So you're literally using this as a timeline. These are great for using in a classroom situation on the board, as well as for a homework task for students. So there's lots of these within the program, but again, you can build these yourself. So you can upload a bit of music, you can put in the hit points throughout the music, and then ask the questions, put in the answers, and it will look like this. So it's a really cool way of building a test. So it's a bit more engaging than just being perhaps a multiple choice. You can, of course, do those multiple choice ones as I showed, but this is an alternative type of quiz that you can have. I'm just going to find another type as well. So if we go to the shared library, so there's lots of content in here that has been created by other people who use the program. So there's something here that's been used. I think I've put it in my favorites actually. Tests, my tests, favorites, or perhaps not. Maybe it's in the lessons area. Blues history, that's the one I'm looking for. Okay. There we go. So within this, if we start and click go, I'm going to skip through this because we're going to get to this quiz, which is slightly different. So this one here is about the second one as well. I'll end that one and move on to the next one. Here we are, the discussion writing quiz. So this is comparing audio and writing about it. So there's 2 little audio clips here, and then the students have got to write about it. And once they've submitted their answer, then they will see the suggested answer. And when you're building these yourself, you can put your own suggested answer in there as well. Now here it's audio clips, but it could also be video clips. So YouTube clips could be 1 or it could be 2. You can do a comparison or just one clip. So you can really turn these into kind of essays that you want the students to write about the music. So this is a different type of quiz. You wouldn't really call it a quiz, I suppose, but it's that type of thing. And you can also mark these individually. So when you come to actually look at what the students have written, you can actually mark it, because obviously this is not something that would auto mark. So that's something you can also do, and also comment back to the students so that they can get some feedback on what you've done. There are various other test types as well. I won't go into all of them. I'll just talk about what the other ones are. So one of them is a kind of drag and drop. So you have lots of words that you can just drop on create the answers. There's also one where you do comparisons as well. And then another one where you can look at a score and then answer sort of 20 questions about that score. So it's basically like a picture that sits on the left-hand side, and then the questions just rotate to give you 20 questions. So again, you can create all of those types of quizzes, but the quickest one is really just that quick fire one I showed you a moment ago, which was a multiple choice quiz, and it was on ornaments, the one I did particularly. So there's a small section on composing. This is a section that we will be growing over time, because originally this was just a dictionary and lessons on sort of exam materials and all kinds of topics. But composing wasn't really in it to start with. So it's something that will grow. We've got an introduction to Soundtrap. We've got Songmaker, which uses Chrome Studio. And then we've got some NMC, which is some contemporary classical music as well. So there's quite a lot of stuff in there to do with composition. So if you're doing the trial, then do explore that. And then going back to the lessons. So when you create your own stuff, your own lessons are here in the tests area. Your own tests sit here, and favorites is a new thing we've put in as well to help you kind of find things within the program. Okay, so that's the kind of general way in which you use Focus on Sound. It really is used extensively in the UK and around the world. It's made a huge difference to so many schools. It's used in 1,500 schools in the UK and many, many more around the world. And now we've got this US version. It'll be a huge bonus to anyone who's using the MusicFirst Classroom as an additional tool to use within any of your curriculum design. So I hope that's been really useful. And if there are any questions, then perhaps Rachel, you could let me know.
Hi, Richard. That was awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's late where you are, so we really appreciate you having you here tonight. So if any of you are interested in trying Focus on Sound for yourself with your students, you can simply go to musicfirst.com/focusonsoundpro/trial and fill out the form there to claim your 30-day free trial. So I'll post that link down in the description box. But again, that's musicfirst.com/focusonsoundpro/trial. That's all we've got for you now. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. Good night.